Yeah, this is actually to test my camcorder, but this is in a 1999 Sebring convertible. You can see it back there. It's the front of the car, and you've got your power distribution center right here. These are all the fuses. You see the fuses? This is your PCM. Okay, that's the computer underneath there. These are the two main connectors. Here's your fuses that are in this box. And you got a small box back here. This cover goes on here, and you got these four relays. These two top relays are your fan relays for your high-speed radiator fan, right there, and your low speed. Then you got your auto shutdown relay. Then your starter relay. That's the auto shutdown relay and your starter relay. What I did was on this, I went ahead and actually labeled the pins. So you got on these two relays up here on the top, the radiator relays. You can see pin 96 and pin 86. That goes to your power control module. That's the computer. The computer will tell the radiator to go on the low speed or high speed. This pin all the way to the left, and this pin all the way to the left on those two relays right here are the 40 amp fuse, always hot. That's the 40 amp fuse, always hot. See those two? The one on the bottom, you see the blue, where it had, which is that is hot on run. Excuse me, hot on run or start, which is the 10 amp fuse, which is one of these 10. It's a, well, I don't know if it's in this one or it's in the underneath the in the dash, but so if you're checking, you could check to see if you got power to these. It's one way to check your fuses. Like if you check, you pull the relay out and you check this pin and that pin all the way to the left for power. First you got 12 volts. And check these two, only when the key is on you should have 12 volts. That's a good diagnosis. And then what I did to check the fan, you notice the one in the center doesn't do anything. 95 and 85, they're just, they're blank basically. Pin 80 and 90, the ones all the way to the right, they go to your fan. That's the fan radiator motor, okay? All the way to the right. That one and that one. All the way to the right. In other words, on the right side of this and on the right side of that. So when you pull those out, so if you can actually jump a power source or from here to here, all the way from the left one to the right one, don't fuck that up, because you could actually, if you do it the wrong one, you could screw something up. You jump from this one, even with the engine off, the key off and everything, this is always hot. If you jump from this one to that one, all the way from the left to the right, you'll get your high-speed fan motor working, and all the way from this one to that one, that'll get your low speed. What I found out is I had a problem diagnosing this fan, because I checked the fan like that, like just the fan, the old one. There's a ground. This thing's kind of hard to aim, this camcorder. There's a ground, and there's a a high speed side and a low speed side, right? So the ground is over on the right, and then you got a high speed side and a low speed side. Well, I tested it and I said, well, it works. Well, I didn't realize the low speed side didn't work. And both sides have to work for the fan for the computer to turn the fan on. And I didn't realize that was the problem until I went and checked it up here. Because I was checking for power. I was checking for power at the 12 volts always on. from the 40 amp fuse here, and also on that one on the low speed side and a high speed side. Then I check the key on only for power, and they both had power. And I said, well, fuck, man, what the hell's going on? I said, the fan works. Then found out really the fan wasn't working. So I went and jumpered it from here to there, the left side to the right side, at pin 98 and pin 90, which is 40 amp, always on power, to high speed fan side. It worked. Then I jumpered it from, on this one, the 40 amp always on, to the low side for the fan, and it didn't work. Then I was thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe the wiring's no good. So I checked from this pin all the way down to the wire, which was over here where the connector is, and you had continuity. The wiring was good. That's when I realized the fan was the problem. So, I changed the fan. See, the other thing is, I had another problem was with the AC wasn't coming on because when they turn the AC on, the fan's supposed to come on high. And I says, but it doesn't work. The high side will not work if the low speed circuit in the fan motor is not working. You can jumper it by applying a power source, but the computer senses there's a problem and it will not come on. Both circuits in that fan motor have to work for the fan to be turned on by the PCM. So, I realized that the AC Freon level was low after I fixed the fan and stuff, and I charged that up. So, I don't know if this car's got any problems now whatsoever, but there's always a little thing you got to fix here and there if you keep after it. It's actually older cars, it's all the little shit that really adds up. But it's good having the actual service manuals like this. You can see here, that's your AC compressor clutch relay. Like if you jump, let's see if I got that pointer right. You jump this one to that one, those two, it's 39 and 31. You can make your clutch compressor come on by itself. But you don't need to do that unless, I don't know what the circumstance you would need to do that. But here's of course it's got 8, one of them's not used, that's a blank, you could keep an extra relay in there. You got your clutch, AC compressor clutch relay, your power top relay, your intermittent wiper relay, your wiper high-low relay, fuel pump relay, and the transmission control relay, the TCM. Which the TCM is this thing right here. That's your transmission control relay. The power control relay, the power control module, the computer, is below these two connectors. Just sits in there with a couple long bolts. Also, I'm going to tell you that, let me show you something here. And you see this stuff here. Actually, I'm not used to pointing this freaking camcorder, man. This stuff here, penetrant specialist. It's for like loosening rusty corroded bolts. Well, this stuff also keeps stuff from getting corroded longer. It actually protects metal longer than regular WD-40. Except this stuff is not cheap. I usually buy it by 8 of them in a case at one time. And but what I like doing is all the fuses and all the relays, I spray the contacts down and where they plug into with this, so they got perfect contact. And also I make sure all the grounds are clean, but not just the engine grounds. Like there's actually a ground underneath this one. There's also other grounds out here. I think there's a ground for the EGR valve. And make sure they're all clean and make sure they don't corrode. And you notice on here it's got a label too. See, high speed relay, low speed relay, auto shutdown relay, starter relay. This just snaps on there. That's it. But stuff like this, these little things where the connectors, like even when I put this fan motor in, I took this stuff and I sprayed it on the pins in here, these pins, like on a connector, because it's just something, some years down the road, even though that's all sealed and it's not supposed to get water in there, a little bit of corrosion could sometimes affect something, because these are all computer driven, and one little thing being out of spec, even your battery, if you got a weak battery, like I just put a new battery here not long ago, like a month ago, it can affect your computer. And if you do all these little stupid things, they're not really stupid, this attention to detail, these Sebrings can be pretty reliable. I know some people say the electrical systems on them are screwed up, but I don't know if it's really that. I think it's I think it's usually dirty connections, and also some of the aftermarket, the quality of the aftermarket parts. Like I found out that, like, if you get an O2 sensor, make sure you get a Bosch, just like the freaking OEM. The distributors, Cardone Select, new one, Cardone Select. An OEM will work, but it's fucking $800-900. A Cardone Select is like 1/3 the price. If you get a crank position sensor, get an OEM. But most of the time with these cars, they get, it's a stupid word like buggy. It's because the connections are not perfect. And this is another, like I was using regular WD-40, but this is even better. This is even better. It keeps those connections from ever getting corroded. Even though they're sealed up and they're not supposed to be subject to moisture, some years down the road it could be one stupid little thing. The cars are outside, they're not, it gets cold, it gets warm, condensation builds up and all this kind of crap. But you can get some serious reliability. But I'm going to show this again one more time. I don't know if I freaking got it very good, because I'm not used to holding this camcorder. I just got this stupid thing used. I was putting the connector pinouts, like you could see I labeled them. So there's 95, 96 and 86 on those two relays goes to the power control module. And you got the two ones on the left, 98 and 88 on those two relays. That is hot on all the time, 40 amp fuse. Then this is the number 9 fuse, 10 amp is the key on only. So like the relay, it's got the power to the, the PCM basically tells the thing to make the 40 amp to make the connection to the radiator fan motor itself. The radiator fan motor is pin 80 on the low side and pin 90 on the high side. You can see they're both on the right side as I'm facing the car. You see, this is how this thing sits. I don't know if that comes in clear enough. And these are the 40 amp fuses here, and these are the 10 amp fuses. Most of them are 10 amp. That's what's sitting under this. But it's good to have this kind of shit. Actually, what I do is I take one service manual information from one and I made that with the red on there and these lines. I made that. This is actually not even in the service manual. You got to take that from the wiring manual and apply it to this diagram. They should actually have this in the service manual. Make it freaking 8 million times easier, but they don't. And that's how it is. And actually, if you had stuff like this on everything, laid out like this, better, where you didn't have to look in one manual with a microscope, basically, and freaking look at another manual and trace it in something else. If they had it like this, it would make it way easier to freaking diagnose something in this car, but they don't. But you can make your own diagrams. That's what I did. And you got the pin, and there's a logic too, you can see. It goes 21, 20, 19, then it's 18, you know, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, and it's going to go 12, 11, 10 on the next one. That's just how it is. It's like it does follow a logic. It does follow a logic. Just like on these middle pins, you notice 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81. See that? Just like these. So it makes it much easier to diagnose. But you got to actually take this information from one manual and from another manual, then make this in, you can do it in Paintbrush, MS, you know, Microsoft Paintbrush, whatever, that's what I'd use this for. And it makes it a lot simpler. But once you do this, you know, these weird electrical problems, all of a sudden they get freaking way easier. It's just like follow the freaking steps, that's all you got to do. Right? Problem is most people don't know how to do this part. So what do you got? Anyway, over and out. So if you got, you know, if you have a problem with the electrical fan motor, me showing you this part, what it goes to on the relays, it's going to make it infinitely easier. Now, if all this stuff checks out and the fan motor still isn't coming on and the fan motor is good, you might have you might just look at your gauge on your dash, and if it's not reading the temperature, you probably have a problem with the temperature sensor, the engine temperature sensor. Got it? So, and then, you know, the last thing actually would be the problem is the PCM itself. The PCM is not telling a command to turn the fan on, but that should be a much more rare problem. Anyway, over now.